Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of Becoming Bob. I'm Alex, and thanks for joining me. Today I'll be painting along with Bob with episode 4 of The Joy of Painting, which you can see right here. As you can see, I'm using a vertical canvas this time, a little different from my previous videos, which, if you haven't seen the previous one, check it out here. Well, I'm excited to get going, so let's get painting.
Okay, so in this episode, as you can see, I'm using a very limited palette. I've only got blue, brown, white, and a little permanent red there. And primarily I'll just be working with the white, blue, and the brown. I pre-mixed that gray color because Bob already had his pre-mixed in the episode. I'm glad I did. It took me a little while to get the color just right. You can see I'm just kind of messing some around up there in the clouds, making a nice cloudy winter sky. The canvas was, of course, covered with liquid white before I got started here. And the paint's sliding around really nice for me. Got a few hairs. Switching out to my fan brush there, getting just a little bit of the red to mix it in. A light pink color. You can see me going there for the liquid white. Actually had it on hand this time, and it really helped. Going in to put the highlights in the clouds now. Just getting those areas where the sun's hitting them. And then going and fluffing them out a little bit with the 2-inch brush. I tried to move it around in a bunch of different directions to simulate all the different directions of the wind up there. And I've got a second fan brush out there. Bob had 2 fan brushes that he was alternating between. A light one and a dark one. Picked up some of that gray color and mixed in a little bit more of the blue and the brown to darken it up. And that's really what this painting was about, was working with these tones. Yeah, I'm just kind of going back and forth with these 2 brushes for a while. While I do that, I'll give a shout out to my dad, Glenn. He's been an inspiration for my whole life. He's a real creative guy himself, and his support has really meant a lot to me over the years. So Dad, thanks a lot. After Bob finished the sky, he kind of blended it like this, starting from the middle of the top and radiating outward to kind of make sun rays kind of coming through the clouds. I tried to do it, but mine didn't turn out 100% straight, and so it didn't look exactly the same from an effect. Got my knife, putting in a distant mountain there. Really trying to work that paint into the canvas. Going in and trying to blend it in some. Now, one of the issues I actually did kind of run into now that I had the liquid white like I was supposed to was that the paint was a lot softer than it's been when I've been working with it, and there were times where I was a little heavy-handed with my blending. You really have to go with just 3 hairs in an air, like Bob says. And some snow and highlights on my mountains. Just kind of misting those in, tapping it in, pushing it into the background. I'll mix it up some more. Darker gray. Going up the knife there. And really drop it in some big mountains now. Trying to get some nice peaks on there that look natural. I'm just filling in as fast as I can. Trying to work that paint in. I'm going back in and blending. Yeah, you can see what I was saying about it being almost too easy to blend there. I almost blended that whole peak away. Trying to make a shadow color now that I'm putting in at the bottom. Will serve as kind of a darker base for putting snow on top of here in just a little bit. And now it's time to lay in some highlights and snow on the big mountain. I'm going with the fan brush and making a lighter gray color and a few pine trees. Alright, now I'm going back in with a 2-inch brush. Actually kind of lay in some snowy hills. Kind of drifting the snow across there over the darker shadowy bits, but still allowing that to come through. Just trying to create the lay of the land. Go back in with my dark fan brush, put in some bigger trees now, a little bit closer. A little darker and a little bit more detail. Oh, scratch that. Going back in with the 2-inch brush to kind of mist everything out a little bit. Now going back in with my 1-inch brush. Let's put in some snowy little shrubs. hairs off of there. Trying to fill in that little grove. Making the trees and the dark spaces at the bottom. Now trying to put in a little tree up in front. Making it darker than the ones in back. I'm going to go in with some titanium white and liquid white mixed together on the knife. And just lay in the highlight parts on the snow. And now back in with the 1-inch highlight brush. And some more shrubs. Trying to keep the shrubs as individual shrubs and not just have a big massive shrub at the base of the trees. Put in a few more sticks and twigs. And now, to clear out a space for my first cabin. Clearing it out like this with the knife both kind of gives me a rough idea of where the cabin's going to go, and also clears some paint off to make it a lot easier for the cabin's paint to stick. Cutting it in, cleaning off the knife. Now picking up some straight brown. And some straight white. Put some snow on the roof. Try and put some on the other side. At this point, I was not feeling too good about how this cabin was going to turn out. Once I started to get some more brown on there and see the shape really starting to form, I started to feel a lot better about it. And now just getting that 1-inch highlighter again to put a few shrubs in front of the cabin there and push it back into the painting. Put in some fence posts coming off from the side of the cabin. And I'm making them progressively smaller as they go off over the hill. And with that, that's pretty much a finished painting. So, get my script liner brush. Thin out some permanent red with a little bit of paint thinner there. And draw it nice and sharp. Go ahead and sign this one as finished. Really had to thin it out though to get it on with all that snow paint there. Thanks for watching episode 4 of Becoming Bob. I'm Alex. If you like what I'm doing here, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.